On this edition of Lexington Now, a reimagined Phoenix Park, summer classics, and D-Day 80 years later. I'm Neil Noah. Welcome to Lexington Now for the week of May 27th, 2024. Phoenix Park is at the crossroads of downtown and has long been in need of a facelift. And that dream has now become a reality with the groundbreaking of the reimagined Phoenix Park. The multi-million-dollar project is slated to finish next year.
We are so excited to get this work underway finally, right? There's been a lot of interest in this project, and quite honestly, Phoenix Park has needed renovated for many years, and we all know that. And so we're really excited that we have funding from several supporters. Phoenix Park sits at the center of our city, and it's at the corner of Main and Lime, and it's a 1-acre park that hundreds of us pass by every single day. And it's really rooted in history. I don't know how many of you here remember the Phoenix Hotel, which was at this site, and it was quite a busy, well-known hotel. And it's a place where we honor our fallen, our police officers and our firefighters with our special memorial here. It's always involved in downtown celebrations. Whenever there's a downtown celebration, people are in Phoenix Park. And so it's part of a string of downtown parks that are now connected by our Town Branch Trail, which is a pretty cool thing, I think. So it's a very special park, and we're really looking forward to it being reimagined.
Reimagining this park takes vision, it takes persistence, and it takes creativity. When we're here again in a year, you're going to see an entirely new Phoenix Park, one that is going to be built for the present and for the future of downtown. This Phoenix Park Reimagined project, as the mayor said, will be an outstanding addition in the heart of our city, and it'll serve people of all ages and backgrounds. By investing in this project, we are showing you that Phoenix Park will be for everyone. Whether you're visiting the library and then going to the playground, traveling along Town Branch Commons, visiting our downtown on a trip, having lunch by the stage, or bringing your furry friends, and I see one right over there, out to play every day, this park is for you. I know that all members of our community deserve functional, beautiful, and multifaceted parks. And I am proud to have spent many years advocating for this project and believing in it.
Phoenix Park Reimagined will bring more play opportunities for downtown for all ages. In an inviting downtown space with bench swings for folks of all ages, perforated metal shade structures for hot summer days, the performance stage funded from the Knight Foundation Donor Advised Fund, an improved dog park, lighting, landscaping, and places for future public art. A decade ago, we learned that physical changes to space and consistent programming and activation could transform the park into an inclusive, family-friendly destination. Now, nearly 10 years later, we kick off the park transformation. Our parks team has worked on this project for years, as many of you in this room have. I suspect Michelle Kasiniak has sketched a design for this space at least, 10 to 15 times over the years. Michelle, Ramona, and Billy with Element Design, Aaron and the team at Gresham Smith, our stakeholder engagement led by Richard at Civic Lex, brought together a design that I know Lexington will be proud to showcase.
The Kentucky Theater is kicking off its Summer Classics series this week. Hayward Wilkerson gives us a preview.
I'm Hayward Wilkerson. I'm the director of the Kentucky Theater. Well, we're here to talk about our Summer Classics film series. For nearly 30 years, we have run classic films every Wednesday from late May until early September. It's always one of our most popular series. We're always extremely excited about it, and we're only a few weeks from the most recent edition of the Summer Classics film series. We start with more than 100 films. We, as a staff, come up with lots and lots of ideas. People email me all the time with suggestions, which we love to get. We compile that into a big list. Our board chair, Lisa Meek, is very Virgo-y, so she makes a huge spreadsheet, and then we start voting on that spreadsheet. And then we narrow it and narrow it. But there are a few things we always try to do. We traditionally have always had a Hitchcock film. We've almost always had a film noir. We always end with The Big Lebowski. And we try to always do a film that really is aimed at families with young kids. So we vote and vote and vote, and then we make sure those things get in there. And then ultimately, we try to do something that represents almost every decade of classic films. Now, that's expanded. Given my age, I tend to think of classics as anything before the 50s, but I'm getting older, so now we have classics in the 90s. But this year we have, I think, pretty much 2 films from every decade, starting in the 30s and going into the 90s. So, you know, sort of our byword is there's something for everybody in this film series. Well, Lisa and I both work really, really closely on design. Despite the fact that I'm the director here, I really come more out of a design background. And Lisa Meeks, who is our board chair, is in marketing at KET. So we collaborate really closely every year. Sometimes we fight a little bit over the designs because we're perfectionists. We were really pleased with this year, and I learned something all the time. I had this idea that when we unveiled this, I wanted to animate this, and it took me a while to figure it out, but we initially online on Facebook animated this and did a little competition where this would spin and you had to identify the films. I don't know if there's one that I'm most excited about, but personally, you know, things I've never seen. So I've never seen The Red Shoes, which at one point was a really beloved film by anybody that liked to dance. I'm sure there are generations of young people that were inspired to go into ballet because they saw The Red Shoes, starting, I think, about 1948. It's an English film. This is the character in The Red Shoes, and she's having to make very difficult choices between her career and a relationship. It is just, the color is extraordinary. It's vibrant. It was a technique they had to stop using because it was so expensive. But if you love early color film, if you love film about art or about dance or about ballet, you really want to see The Red Shoes. You and I were talking. I've actually never seen Taxi Driver on the big screen, and so I'm really excited about that. I'm a huge film noir fan, so The Third Man is one of my favorite film noir, and it has Orson Welles in it, and you just can't beat Orson Welles, you know, his huge personality. I'll point out Cinema Paradiso, and this is how responsive we try to be to folks that love the theater. There's a young man at UK who I think every month for the last year he's emailed me and said, will you all please show Cinema Paradiso? And we keep saying, we're going to try to get it in, we'll show it. And he was the very first person I contacted when I said, we've decided to do Cinema Paradiso as part of our Summer Classics. If you've never seen it, it's an amazing film. It's beautiful. It's all about a cinema. We love it so much because it's about a cinema that has gone through a lot of challenges and then overcome those challenges. It's a beautiful film, and the final scene is one of the most moving scenes I've ever seen in a movie. There's a million reasons we do this series. One, we love the series. Two, it's a little bit like Black Friday in the retail industry. You know, we hope to make a lot of money with the Summer Classics, and that lets us do, you know, things throughout the year that we know maybe won't bring as many people in, but we feel like really fit our mission to bring unusual film to Lexington. So we will get a lot of new people, but you also see regulars. It's like a family reunion, especially for Fred because he's been here for so long. I mean, you just watch people come in, and Fred will stand and say, oh, I haven't seen this person in a long time. Oh, that's the first time they've been back in the theater in a long time. We get huge crowds, as you probably know. I mean, some of these will sell out. I mean, we will get, you know, more than 800 people for some of these, but we'll get between 200 and 500 people for every one of these films. And I'll say, since I've got the chance to speak to everybody now, come early. Please come early. You know, it's a huge auditorium, but we're a small staff, so people like their popcorn, they like their candy. It can be hard for us to get everybody served if they all show up at 7 o'clock when the movie starts at 7:15. But one thing we're doing new this year, because we know it's frustrating if you're the person that gets here really early and then you're sitting there for a long time because we're trying to get people sort of to come in late. It can be a little annoying. So as in every year, we have someone playing the organ before the films, and we're also going to do cartoon shorts this year before every film, sort of vintage, cartoons from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. So KentuckyTheater.org is the easiest way to get to it, and that's the easiest thing to remember. We do have on the website, there's KentuckyTheater.org/Summer Classics. You can go there too if you want a quick view of the entire series, and you can click on buttons and see what each film is about. And of course, we'll have this up on social media, on Facebook and on Instagram with direct links to each film. You can also just come down to the theater and buy a ticket. They're on sale now, so anytime you want to come down and get a ticket to any one of your favorite films, just come on down. So every Wednesday we do a matinee at 1:30 and then 7:15 in the evening. We'll open the doors by 6:30. The organ will be playing. We'll probably start the cartoon shorts at about 7:15, and the film will probably start maybe 10 minutes after that. Just come see us. This is a great series. This is a great way to see your favorite film. We see lots of folks that want to introduce their child or their grandchild to films that meant so much to them when they were younger. So it's the best of the cinema experience in a movie theater, because the energy of watching these films with 200, 300, 600 other people that love this film, you can't capture that at home, which is why we enjoy the series so much, and we invite you to come down and have fun with us.
The 80th anniversary of D-Day is June 6th. We'll tell you how Lexington plans to mark the occasion after this.
Hello everyone, I'm Tiffany Brown, Equity and Implementation Officer in the Mayor's Office and Chair of the A Sense of Place Committee. I'm here today to talk about A Sense of Place, an initiative dedicated to preserving the history of Lexington's rural Black hamlet and celebrating those that remain active today. More than 20 historic Black hamlets have been identified in Fayette County. Most are located in rural areas. Our historic hamlets have been and are home to generations of lived experiences, traditions, and culture, houses, churches, schools, grocery stores, agricultural enterprises, and lodge halls for community gatherings were found in many hamlets. A Sense of Place is a partnership between community members with direct connection to our hamlets and the city of Lexington. Its goal is to raise awareness about what the hamlets represent and to identify steps that are needed to take to preserve their history. The A Sense of Place Committee includes local historian Yvonne Giles, local historian Calvin Graves, Executive Director of the Lexington History Museum Mandy Higgins, Cadentown resident Dr. Alvin Seals, Cadentown Baptist Church pastor Reverend Leon Slatter, and others. With support from members of the Cadentown community, A Sense of Place is currently raising funds for maintenance updates and programming of the Cadentown Rosenwald School and property located at 705 Caden Lane. In the early 2000s, members of the Cadentown community worked with the city to preserve the school. In the early 20th century, Rosenwald schools were found across the South, serving rural Black children and families during segregation. Many of the buildings have been destroyed. Lexington is proud that the Cadentown School still stands and wants to preserve the history and significance that so many of these schools have had in our hamlet communities. The funds will complete the restoration of the school and upgrade the historic cemetery and church building. The school will permanently house artifacts that tell the story of Lexington's hamlet. We hope you will join us.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. June 6 marks the 80th anniversary of D-Day. One of Lexington's sister cities, Deauville, France, is in Normandy, location of the historic landings on that day. Kay Sargent talks about the commemoration plans.
I'm Kay Sargent, and I'm the Executive Director of the Lexington Sister Cities program for Lexington, Kentucky. Lexington has 4 sister cities. It's an international program. Deauville, France, County Kildare, Ireland, Shinhadaka, Japan, and Newmarket, England. So we have all kinds of programs and exchanges with those particular cities. They're all horse areas, and that's our common bond and why we're twinned with those particular places. On June the 6th, will mark the 80th anniversary of D-Day and the Normandy invasion. And because of our one of our sister cities being located in Deauville, France, which is in Normandy, it was decided that we should honor this event. In addition to honoring the 80th anniversary, we're also remembering 8 soldiers that were killed during the Normandy invasion that had ties or connections to Lexington, and they are buried in the Normandy American Cemetery. So we wanted to do something for those families, and the mayor will be giving them proclamations. So we've been researching the families, and coming up with family members of these soldiers, which has not been an easy task because these were young boys that were killed, and so didn't have children of their own. And so we've been reaching out to nieces and nephews and cousins and things like that. So far we have found 6 families out of the 8, so we're have great hope that we'll find the last 2 also. At the Kentucky Theater, it begins at 5:30. It'll start promptly, so the doors are going to open at 4:30. It's free and open to the public. We welcome anybody and everybody. We've partnering with KET. They will be showing a documentary called In Their Own Words. So that'll be playing at the end of the program. The mayor, of course, will be welcoming everyone and speaking, and Dr. Capilouto will also be there and will be speaking. The Nunn Center is showing some footage of some interviews that they have with some local World War II veterans, so that will be played also. One special thing we're doing is involving the students. We send exchange students every year to all 4 of our sister cities, but the ones that go to Deauville, we have chosen 8 of students either from last year or this year that will, when the proclamations are given out, they will get up and read about each soldier, so we know the people will understand and know a little bit about the soldiers. When our students go over there, they always visit the Normandy American Cemetery, so they know what it is and what it's all about, and that's why we wanted to involve them. Again, it's June 6th, and it begins at 5:30, so everyone is welcome. You don't have to be a veteran. It's open to our community. Our website is lexingtonsistercities.org. Very easy, and there's information on there about our program and about this event.
We finish up our look at Mayor Gorton's proposed budget for the coming fiscal year this week with Part 6.
As we work to serve our residents, we must ensure that we're serving everyone. Since 2020, this community has been involved in implementing recommendations from my Commission for Racial Justice and Equality, a group of 70 citizens who sought solutions to racial inequities in Fayette County. As we continue to implement their recommendations, it's time to look back at the changes we have made to measure their effectiveness. I've included $100,000 for an equity assessment study. Now, smart land use planning is an essential service we provide to our residents. Planning staff members keep an eye on our future while monitoring our present and protecting quality of life. Planning's responsibilities have grown with the recent addition of new acreage inside the urban service area. To ensure we can meet the demands of this new development places on government services like sewers, traffic, fire, police, it's essential that we plan carefully in this area. In doing so, we help protect our natural environment and build an attractive, economically strong, and socially diverse community. I've included 4 new positions for outreach and strategic planners, a combined annual funding of almost $437,000. In addition, we will invest $500,000 in a small area plan for the Blue Sky Industrial Park in the Blue Sky Rural Activity Center, also part of the new expansion area. This plan will involve economic development leaders and business owners as we discuss redevelopment of the park. And finally, I have $2 million for our Purchase of Development Rights program that protects our prime farmland. Now, good planning is also the key to our Complete Streets program. The goal of this program is to make transportation in Lexington safer, affordable, accessible, and dependable for everyone through planning and design. We're funding $119,000 to hire a Complete Streets manager to make Complete Streets planning part of all transportation projects. Safe Street funding also includes $1.45 million to match the $22 million federal grant, one of the largest grants we have ever received. The funds will be used to make improvements on New Circle Road between Boardwalk and Bryan Station, where most of our fatal and serious injury traffic accidents have occurred. $1 million for ADA ramps so more people can get from the sidewalk to the street easily. $900,000 in traffic signals and bike and pedestrian improvements, including completion of 2 trails in Jacobson Park, improvements on bike paths near the University of Kentucky campus, and work on the Town Branch Trail that heads out Leestown Road. Closing sidewalk gaps and adding new bike lanes on West Loudon Avenue, a local investment of $140,000 to match a $560,000 federal grant. Closing sidewalk gaps and adding new bike paths, plus intersection improvements along Armstrong Mill from Tates Creek Road to Squires Hill Lane, an investment of $200,000 to match an $800,000 federal grant. These federal grants are your tax dollars coming home. $150,000 for traffic calming initiatives on neighborhood streets, and $14 million in road paving. We are also making significant investments to protect our environment. I've included $700,000 more to increase recycling, with additional funding for electronic recycling and composting. I've created a new position in water quality that will focus exclusively on odor control at our wastewater treatment plants. $6 million is included to construct odor control process improvements at each wastewater treatment plant. We've hired an odor control consultant to guide us in making this process efficient and effective. Now, odor may not be important to all of you, but it's important to a whole bunch of people here. 2 programs are funded that make home repairs more affordable. This is the 4th year for the Housing Repair Assistance Program I started. It helps low-income homeowners make needed repairs identified by code enforcement. $200,000 for this program is included. And we have increased funding for the Code Enforcement Sidewalk Program, a cost-sharing program to repair residential sidewalks. $300,000 for this program, an increase of $130,000 is included. Now, parks make an enormous contribution to the quality of life of thousands of our residents. $2.9 million in parks improvements are funded to improve the services they offer. Playground improvements at Masterson Hills, Hillendale, and Marlborough are included. And there's parking lot paving at Meadowbrook, restroom design for Constitution, and building repairs at Raven Run, Shillitoe, and the Tates Creek Ballroom. In aquatics, the pool liner in the Tates Creek pools will be replaced. So, in conclusion, we all know that a budget is an operational plan expressed in dollars to reflect our priorities. Back in January, during my State of the City-County speech, I said I had kept the promise I made 25 years ago when I first was elected to the council, to keep government's focus on people. And today's budget does exactly that. Thank you very much.
This week, there's a shorter list of live meetings to tell you about on Lex TV due to the holiday, but remember, you can always find the most accurate and up-to-date information on all city business at lexingtonky.gov. Here's this week's meeting coverage. That's all for now, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media. Check out the latest traffic updates on X at LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on lexingtonky.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it.